Feingold is the former Asia chairman of Republicans Abroad. He joins us from Taipei with more. And Ross, good to have you on the program with us again. Do you think it was wise for the U.S. president to visit Kenosha right now, as he is a polarizing figure when it comes to these protests?
Well, politically, it seems to have been a very astute move. And we have to give the president credit. The more that the governor, who's a Democratic governor, or the mayor opposed it, or the more people who have a leadership role with protesters, or media that's more favorable to Democrats and unfavorable to Trump, the more they criticized it, the more it appears to be the astute move with voters who do support Trump or are still in the middle. And we have to keep in mind that Wisconsin is a battleground state, and there are undecided voters. It's going to be very, very close there. From the perspective of the local politicians who didn't want him to come there because they think he's polarizing and won't help reduce tensions on the ground, sure, we could understand that view. But from the view of getting reelected and saying to voters who haven't made up their minds yet, or voters who already decided to, in fact, vote for Trump, we could also understand why Trump and his advisors thought this was a good move.
So, critics are saying that this was more of a campaign stop for Trump. And as you said, Wisconsin is a battleground state. We've seen Trump talk pretty consistently about this law and order message. You call this an astute move. Do you think that this will give him a boost in polls, the boost he needs, because he has been trailing behind Joe Biden, although it looks like in the polls that that gap between them is getting smaller?
It certainly is, and that's expected anyway at the end of the summer after the parties have their conventions, although this year's conventions were obviously very unorthodox due to the pandemic. But polls for several months have already been showing a drop in support for protests, for Black Lives Matter, for the social unrest. It wouldn't be fair to say everybody's tired of it, but there's obviously a segment of American society that has tired of protest. And of course, the people who support the protests and they have genuine concerns as well about the way the police behave and other issues related to racial discrimination. But it's clear that there is an opening here for President Trump and for Republicans running for the House and the Senate as well. And they're going to exploit that. And that opening is to say, we're the party of stability, and the other party, the Democratic Party, are supporting this social unrest. They're not really looking at a solution. We're the party that supports public safety, or law and order, as President Trump likes to say. And will it be a winning message? It's impossible to say. We have to be so careful about predicting the outcome of the election. But is it going to help Donald Trump close the gap with Joe Biden? Well, look, we're already seeing that.
All righty, and just about 2 months left to go into Election Day. Russ Feingold, thank you.